The road stabilization application process begins in Soilworks' state-of-the-art geotechnical lab. Before any product is put into the soil, the correct admixture of Soiltac must be tested and verified.
In our laboratory, we're taking the different types of soils that we'll be working with on site, and we'll be basically making the same product in the laboratory, testing its strength, all of its different properties to optimize our results. And then once we decide what's an optimal result we're looking for, then we use those application rates, and then we repeat that in the field on a larger scale.
Once the correct project-specific admixture is verified in the lab, the field application can begin. Soilworks Chairman and CEO Chad Falkenberg explains the goal of today's application.
Today what we're doing is we're road building. We're using our Soiltac product where we're mixing it into the ground about 6 inches deep to provide a solid, stable base for people to drive on that's stable in all sorts of weather. What that's going to do is it's going to harden the ground and allow us to create a very hard, stable road so that they don't fall apart when it's too wet out and they don't turn too dusty when it's dry.
The first step in the field process is to fill the computerized distributor trucks with water and then top them off with the Soiltac concentrate based on the lab admixture optimization results. Recirculating pumps are used to ensure a uniform Soiltac dilution inside the tanks. Multiple computerized distributor trucks are filled with Soiltac dilution to streamline the procedure. The trucks filled with the Soiltac dilution are then secured directly to a specialized road reclaimer. At this point, the Soiltac dilution is pumped through the reclaimer and it is injected into the soil over a large milling head. As you can see, the 800 horsepower four-wheel drive reclaimer has a large 8-foot wide, 4-foot tall milling head that is made up of over 200 individual hardened tungsten carbide teeth. This allows the reclaimer to chew through the soil while injecting the Soiltac dilution with ease at an average of 50 feet per minute. The result is perfectly uniform soil and Soiltac blend at optimum moisture levels.
One of the most important things that you can look for here on these types of projects in road building when you're working with native soils is making sure that you're achieving optimum moisture. If the ground is too dry, it will not compact. If it's too wet, you're going to create mud. So our goal is really to achieve optimum moisture.
In order to make sure that optimum moisture is being achieved, the crew takes speedy moisture tests throughout the project. A precise amount of soil and chemical reagent is measured and then shaken to create pressure. The pressure gauge gives a reading of the moisture content in the soil.
We've taken our speedy moisture reading, and so what we're looking for is taking a sample of the soil, squeezing it in our hand, and making sure that we can create a nice tight ball. The more that we squeeze this, the denser and denser that this should get, so that when we go to compact the road, it gets tighter and tighter and harder. Had this been too wet, we would find that as we squeeze it, it would squeeze through our fingers and it would we could play with it like clay. Or if it were too dry and we were below optimum, you'd find that this would just crumble in your hands and we wouldn't be able to form a nice tight ball. So what we're looking at here is good, and this just confirms by looking at it in the field that it matches our data from the speedy moisture. We have indeed achieved optimum moisture, and this is ready for shaping and compacting.
The first step of the compacting is the sheep's foot compactor.
What a sheep's foot does is it has like a bunch of spiked feet in it, and what that's doing is it's basically kneading the soil rather than just vibrating or pushing down on it. It's kneading it like clay, because clays compact much better by kneading them rather than vibrating them or just simply compressing them. So we use a sheep's foot on a project like this, and what you're left with is the sheep's feet will go into the ground, and then as you continue to roll over it with multiple passes, those feet will stop going into the ground and they'll start sitting on top of the ground. And that's when you know you've kneaded the ground enough and you know you're getting compaction, because those feet aren't going into the ground, they're sitting on top of it. We've made 2 passes with the sheep's foot. We're going to follow up behind that with a road grader. The road grader is going to be doing his rough grade to shape the road so we have a crown on the road, so that when the rain comes, the water's coming on the road and it's coming off into the ditch where it belongs rather than staying on the road and destabilizing the base.
Next, we bring in the pneumatic rubber tire compactors. These 9 independent rubber tire rollers prevent soil from sticking to the compactor while finding any soft spots or problem areas and compacting them. After the initial compaction with the pneumatic compactors, it's time for the large 10 to 20 ton vibratory steel drum.
What we're doing there, we're vibrating the ground, we're putting a lot of force into compacting the ground, and it's a nice large steel drum that allows us to get a nice smooth surface so that when you're driving down the road, everything is nice and even and you don't feel any corrugation on the surface.
After the soil is compacted with the steel drum, it's time for the final grading. The blade fans out the remaining soil to create the perfect smooth crown to the road, followed with the final surface compaction using the steel drum compactor. Up next is the finishing touch, a topical seal coat of the Soiltac product. SoilWorks' computerized distributor truck will spray a uniform surface seal over the top of the Soiltac stabilized road.
Our goal with the topical seal coat of the Soiltac over the top of the stabilized base is really twofold. One is we're helping control the dust. We're creating a surface crust that's dust-free, but we're also sealing that ground so that when the rains come, that water's going off the crown of the road and into the ditch where the water belongs, not into the ground and destabilizing that road and creating those ruts and potholes.
In just a matter of minutes, the Soiltac dries clear, revealing the natural beauty of a native soil-stabilized road.
Now the polymer itself is going to continue to cure, similar to like cement, over about a 28-day period. So even though we're opening this up to traffic in a matter of hours, it's going to continue to get harder and harder and harder over about a month's period.
In just one day, a stabilized road is created and ready for traffic using the Soiltac product. Whether your needs are commercial, industrial, or military, you can count on SoilWorks to combine your business goals with their knowledge, state-of-the-art soil technology, and environmental best practices to meet your objectives.